When will this market finally turn around? Bitcoin keeps dropping. Altcoins are wrecked. Did we already hit the top? Bullish event after bullish event. Even a historic crypto White House summit. Yet the prices keep falling. But here's what most people are missing. The answer has been hiding in plain sight. A key signal, one that has predicted every major price movement upward for Bitcoin in its entire history, is flashing yet again. And based on its track record, the next move up couldn't be more obvious. And after digging into the crypto summit, guys, I tell you, I have a lot to say, and we're gonna break that down today for you. Many people all over crypto Twitter and everywhere thought that it was a huge disappointment, a big letdown, a nothing burger. But I'll tell you, I think that they're looking at it the wrong way. And what happens behind the scenes, the other hours of that meeting, I think tell a much different story. So guys, I'm bringing that all down for you guys today. What was said, what wasn't said, and why that event could have potentially set the stage for a massive event that's coming sooner than most people think. And if you guys are wondering when the real bull run comes and what's coming next, you don't want to miss this one, guys. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, so everything wasn't recorded at the Digital Asset Summit. You know, we only got 20 minutes of the opening. Here's a brief takeaway from that opening.
Welcome to the first ever White House Digital Asset Summit. Last year, I promised to make America the Bitcoin superpower of the world, and we're taking historic action to deliver on that promise.
Your administration is moving at tech speed.
We are going to keep the U.S. the dominant reserve currency in the world, and we will use stablecoins to do that.
Technology is at the foundation of the Trump presidency.
This is truly a historic day, and as a crypto founder, I couldn't be more proud to be part of your administration.
No one in this room could have envisioned this just a couple years ago.
We want to stay at the forefront of everything. This is a big day. Being in the White House is a big deal, and you have great support. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
So keep this in mind, everything's being said, right? And the big campaign thing right now from the Trump administration is promises made, promises kept. I'll tell you why that's important as we get into this. But in the brief 20 minutes that we got to see a glimpse into the meeting, here's a summary of the breakdown. It was basically just congratulating for the things that had been done so far, ending Operation Choke Point 2.0, non-Bitcoin crypto stockpile, the US will never sell its Bitcoin, great, regulatory clarity for stablecoins, and wants a stablecoin bill ASAP. Now we're going to share a couple clips and I'll give you guys my thoughts on that here.
Stay on. America will follow the rule that every Bitcoin knows very well. Never sell your Bitcoin. That's a little phrase that they have. I don't know if that's right or not. Who the hell knows, right?
Look, now here's the thing, right? Trump, this is not his number one priority. We wish in the industry that crypto was his biggest priority, right? Because he's got a lot on the plate. But what I think that we need to look at is who he's appointed to look after the financial side of the United States, right? And so we'll get into that as we talk throughout the video here. All right, guys, now listen to David Sachs here. Remember, this is what I was saying last week in my video.
The holding of the US government. Going back to what President Trump mentioned over the weekend, talking of Ripple, Solana, other alternative coins, that people are wondering whether they're going to be included in this stockpile. Will they? Does the US own them? Why mention them by the president?
Well, the president just mentioned the top 5 cryptocurrencies by market cap. So I think people are just reading into this a little bit too much. He just mentioned the top 5. In terms of...
Look, that's exactly what I told you guys last week, but that's even more irrelevant now, and we'll get into that right here.
There's a couple of important differences between stockpile and reserve. So one is the reserve, the executive order actually provides that the Secretary of the Treasury will not sell the Bitcoin, okay? We're prohibited from selling the Bitcoin. There's no such prohibition with respect to the stockpile. If the Secretary of the Treasury decides that's in the long-term interest of the U.S. to rebalance the portfolio or change the portfolio, the Secretary has the discretion to do.
All right, so guys, here is the big difference, right? And there was a lot of speculation last week what's going on, right? The big difference is there's a digital asset stockpile. And that is essentially everything that the U.S. government and Treasury has acquired, whether through seizures, forfeitures, same for Bitcoin, by the way. But this is a very, very good episode on the All In podcast. If you guys would check it out, just most importantly, check out the part where David Sachs comes on. It's the last 20 minutes, 30 minutes of the show or whatever. But he clarifies the difference between the stockpile and the reserve and clarifies that Bitcoin as it should be, is going to be treated differently. He goes on to say things like, it's been battle tested. There's essentially $2 trillion of value. And that is a big incentive for people like North Korea or the best hackers in the world to try to attack the network and take it down. And so far, it's never gone down, and it's stood the test of time. And that's why it's built differently than everything else, being treated as a reserve asset. And the digital asset stockpile, well, I think what we saw Trump post on Truth Social last week isn't going to be the case. I don't know why he said that, but really what's in the stockpile can be sold, can be traded, can be put into Bitcoin. It seems like for now, they're going to keep what they have as is. And the Secretary of Treasury, Howard Lutnick, has the ability to buy and sell and rebalance that portfolio. They go into this interview. Sachs goes to talk about how, Lutnick's success in the past, et cetera, as his ability to do that job well. And also Sachs goes in to say that they're going to have to audit what they have on the books. There's 200,000 Bitcoin, there's other assets. And so they don't even know. But this was really interesting. This is Alex Thorne. He's from Galaxy Digital, head of research over there, saying that we think the current US Bitcoin balance available for repurpose into a reserve is at max 88,000 Bitcoin, only 43% of the government's current holdings. That's because of the 198,000 Bitcoin now held by the US government, 112,000 Bitcoin will be returned to Bitfinex. Markets will learn the difference between seized and forfeited. Now, there was a big Bitfinex hack back in the day. If you guys don't know, Bitfinex is an exchange. There was about 112,000 Bitcoin, and about 95,000 of that, I think, have already been declared by a judge to go back to Bitfinex. Now, this is going to bring the size of the reserve down significantly. I think there's 25,000 Bitcoin or so that the US holds right now that are currently still in court of what to do with those, leaving the size of the reserve to about only 88,000 Bitcoin. There was a correction down here, actually 86,000 Bitcoin, which is very interesting. Why? Because Trump makes these promises that he wants to be ahead of China and have more than China and be bigger. And so this is the real thing. He's come out publicly and said that there's going to be 200,000 Bitcoin in the reserve, that in reality, that's not the case after they go through accounting, right? So that's not going to look good. So then we have to look at, okay, how else can we get ahead of at least China and be the number one crypto capital of the world and the Bitcoin superpower of the world, as he's promised? Remember, promises made, promises kept.
The Treasury and Commerce Departments will also explore new pathways to accumulate additional Bitcoin holdings for the reserve, provided it's done at no cost to the taxpayers. We don't want any cost to the taxpayers.
So this is what is called a budget neutral strategy to acquire Bitcoin. They can do that through a bunch of ways that have been proposed. Just the goal is that what they're not going to do is print money and buy Bitcoin, which is what we had all hoped that they would do, which is what Michael Saylor proposed that they do. There's a lot of other ways that they could acquire Bitcoin. And in my opinion, promises made should be promises kept. And so if we need to get ahead of China and be the Bitcoin superpower of the world, then we better start looking at budget neutral ways to acquire Bitcoin, because 86,000 is not more than other countries have. So VanEck came up with this kind of report, but I think Grok did a better job, right? So it says it could utilize forfeited assets. It says roughly has 17.4 billion Bitcoin, which now we know it's going to be actually less. But it says it could trade or swap assets that it currently has in the stockpile, like other cryptocurrencies. Probably not likely to do that, but it could convert existing reserves. So the U.S. remains strategic reserves of liquid assets like gold, valued at over $600 billion at market rates, though the book value is only $42 an ounce. We've talked about this before. And a petroleum reserve, or oil, of 395 million barrels in the strategic petroleum reserve, worth billions depending on oil prices. So selling a small portion of these, for example, 5% of the gold holdings, 30 billion at current market value, could fund Bitcoin purchases. Alternatively, revaluing gold on the books at market price, as proposed by Senator Cynthia Lummis, could create accounting gains to offset Bitcoin acquisition costs without selling the physical assets. So Cynthia Lummis says, we have all these gold certificates. They're priced at $40 an ounce. Gold is actually priced closer to $3,000 an ounce right now. We could sell some of these gold certificates, buy Bitcoin, and cost the taxpayers no money. This stuff could be done soon. We don't know. This is like the biggest takeaway that I think people are not paying attention to, but it makes sense because there's no immediate action, right? And these things need to be sorted out, but they have the executive order now to go ahead and do these kind of actions. So we don't know. This could happen very soon. I mean, within a matter of days, weeks, maybe months. That's the uncertainty the market's feeling right now for sure, though. One of the ones I see on crypto Twitter a lot is this issue Bitcoin bonds. The Treasury could create a financial instrument where investors purchase bonds with Bitcoin, transferring their Bitcoin to the reserve. The government would pay interest in fiat currency from existing revenue, keeping the strategic budget neutral. No new cash outlay is needed to acquire the Bitcoin. Those are and I also heard there's another one too, where they've got like billions of dollars worth of cheese in like a Minnesota cave or something like that. Why do we have billions of dollars of cheese? Like that's pretty insane. I don't know. Do we need this cheese? Can we sell the cheese and buy Bitcoin? I think that's probably a better reserve than cheese, and of course, Saylor chimes in. Of course, he's got a few budget neutral strategies for acquiring Bitcoin. We know Saylor has been at the White House. We know that he's meeting with everybody. We know that he's introduced some kinds of framework, and they're taking him very seriously. And this news, so Strategy, the new ticker is STRX for MicroStrategy, no longer micro, just strategy, announced a plan to buy $21 billion worth of Bitcoin. Are they going to raise for this? I don't know, but could you imagine? Imagine that this I don't know what's going to happen, but Michael Saylor now wants to do this kind of at the market program, which is a way of raising money to buy Bitcoin. All right, guys, and I want to thank the channel sponsors and partners here on the channel today. NordVPN, guys, if you're not using NordVPN, I don't know why. You definitely must be using a VPN when you're dealing with cryptocurrency. Also, the other day, I found out that you could also use your VPN when searching around for things like hotels and flights, because when you're logged in to a site like booking.com, which is what I was using, I saved over $400 on booking my hotel using my VPN, turning it on, saying that I was in the States, booking a hotel in Thailand, actually saved me $400 versus if I didn't have the VPN turned on, I would pay an extra $400. There's a lot of uses for a VPN. Go check it out. Link in the description below. Guys, it's nothing. Like, I literally paid 3 or 4 years worth of NordVPN, just what I saved on the hotel cost. Plus, it protects you so that you don't get phished, attacked, people don't steal your data, etc., etc. And the other one, guys, is LBank, great exchange. There's literally 4 days left to get these bonuses. So if you guys need a good centralized exchange that doesn't require KYC for you to go trade things like Bitcoin and Ethereum, if you want to trade futures, long leverage trading, 5x, 10x, whatever, then go use the link in the description below. You get these trading bonuses. If you deposit $1,000, get $500. Deposit $500, get $100. Deposit $100 and you get $40. Guys, go check it out. And the next agenda was stablecoin regulation. So this is a big one, right? This is going to bring, like I've said before, tens or hundreds of trillions of dollars into the crypto market, which will eventually trickle into our beloved volatile assets like Bitcoin and altcoins. And it's happening sooner than later. Now, I was surprised that Trump said he wants this on his desk by August recess. That's a long time from now, if you ask me. But they need to get it right? It needs to go through Congress. In the meantime, it's not stopping stablecoin issuers from exploding, right? We know, actually, I don't have the post open, but Thailand just allowed, I just saw the post right now on my X. You can go follow me on X if you're not already. Like, all the best news in the world is there. So Thailand just approved USDT to be used as a form of payment inside of Thailand. Stablecoin adoption is happening like crazy right now, literally will bring trillions and trillions of dollars on chain from the fiat world to pump our bags eventually, ladies and gentlemen. So this is a big deal too. So everyone was talking about the summit, right? But what happened also recently was the Office of Comptroller of Currency essentially laid out the new banking laws, saying that banks can now hold crypto on behalf of their clients. Important, since this will allow anyone with a bank account to hold crypto. Currently, 75% of the US population don't hold crypto. Get ready for a tsunami of new liquidity. So it's not just stable coins. They're going to be able to hold all crypto. And this is something that we talked about last year, something that Gary Gensler and those guys were really against. We've talked about this before. But now it's official. As you can see here from the official government account the US OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of Currency, says and has reaffirmed that crypto asset custody, holding deposits that serve as reserve backing stablecoins, and the use of distributed ledger technology and stablecoins to facilitate permissible payments activities are permissible in the federal banking system. It is official. And banks have been preparing and waiting for this day for a long time. Why? Because it's another revenue stream, right? Because just like the banks do with your dollars, and guys, I am not advocating that you should be putting your cryptocurrency in a bank. I think that you should not. If you're savvy enough, use something like Ledger. By the way, link is in the description below to get yourself a nice deal on Ledger hardware wallet. But you should not store your cryptocurrency in a bank. But people will, and this will give incentive for banks to shill people cryptocurrency. Why? Because if you're Bank of America, you're Wells Fargo or whatever, and you get enough XRP or Ethereum or whatever, this new initiative from the OCC allows banks to use your cryptocurrency to run validators and run nodes and earn yield off of them. So if all of a sudden now there's billions of dollars of customer deposits in XRP, guess what banks are going to do? They're going to go run XRP validators. Or if there's billions of dollars of Ethereum stored at banks, guess what they're going to go do? They're going to go earn this is going to earn banks billions and billions and billions of dollars a year. So yeah, they're going to shill the heck out of cryptocurrency. This, my friends, is extremely bullish for our industry. Like, banks want to make money. They have an obligation to their shareholders to make money. And this gives them a great opportunity. It's just such a no-brainer. You literally take people's Ethereum, you hold on to it for them, you run a validator, and if you have $1 billion or $10 billion or $100 billion, now you're earning 4.5% a year in profit. Like, this is how Tether became so profitable. Tether, literally, how Tether earns money is they take people's money, someone gives them $1 billion in cash, they give them $1 billion with USDT, and then Tether takes that $1 billion of cash, buys short-term treasury notes, and earns 4%, 5% a year on all of the cash that back that US dollar stablecoin. Now banks get the same opportunity, which is insane, to do that on your cryptocurrency. So yes, they're going to do it. And now we have some more vision on why these institutions and banks are going to start, hey, Sally, welcome to the bank. Yeah, I see you want to, we're helping you with your investment in a savings account. Have you ever considered buying some Ethereum? Well, we can do that for you. We're going to hold it for you. No problem. We'll pay you 0.25% a year on your Ethereum deposits. No worries. Well, we take 4.5%. You see what's happening here? Huge news, because now we're going to have the banks shilling cryptocurrency to everybody. It's just obvious. It's another way for them to make money, but not your keys, not your cryptos, ladies and gentlemen. Be very careful. And of course, the market's falling. Now Bitcoin, $80,000 time of recording. And it was because people were expecting something significant to come out of this meeting. We don't even know what was discussed for the other 4 hours of the meeting. We have no idea, right? We don't know. We can only speculate, but there's a lot of discussion, and everybody in the room was pro-cryptocurrency. And everybody in the room was pro-cryptocurrency, and they were there advocating for our industry, and Trump was there listening, and more importantly, David Sachs was there listening, and Howard Lutnick, who owns Bitcoin, was there listening. They want their bags to go up, and they want America to be the crypto capital of the world. They're going to make favorable regulations. So you guys don't see what's happening. This is, even though we have short-term pain, short-term bearish, short-term price go down, it's giving buying opportunities for people who want to get Bitcoin. Remember, not too long ago, Bitcoin is $108,000. Now it's $80,000. We have like a 30% pullback. Pretty good. I'm not saying it can't go lower. It definitely can, because again, that's the initiative of the government right now. They're forcing the hand of the Fed to lower rates. That's what the intention is. And we're going to talk about that here in just a second right now. And remember, it's not just crypto. It's also stocks, right? Meta down 18%, NVIDIA down 30%, Tesla down 50%. This is huge for the stock market. This is a stock market correction like crazy. And this is going to put a lot of pressure on the Fed to lower interest rates. And if they can do it, because if the CPI and inflation comes down, then it gives them a bit more breathing room to do that. Jobs are also important. Okay, guys, and this is a good interview. I'm not going to play it for you. I'll just sum it up for you. But basically, Tom Lee from FudStrat says he thinks the White House wants the Fed to get off neutral, and he thinks it's increasingly looking like the Fed is behind. And we know that Trump and the administration want to get the 10-year Treasury yield down so they can refinance the budget deficit of $7 trillion to make the interest payments on that much cheaper to help save the U.S. from spending, right? And this is having to do with the whole thing of cutting back the government U.S. deficit. Now, if we look over here at CME Group, so if we look at the likelihood of rate cuts, we see that the next FOMC meeting is March 19th. Extremely unlikely, only 3%, that we're going to get a rate cut. We're going to get a rate cut this month. Now, if we look at May, it's up to about 40%, which is pretty good. We have some data, CPI data coming in this week that's going to paint another picture that could change this dramatically. So we'll keep an eye on this channel on the likelihood of seeing a rate cut in May or potentially even March, but highly not likely, potentially in May. Right now, if you look at this on June, they're saying it's a high likelihood that we get a rate cut by June. But if we go back here and look at our Trueflation data that we've showed you before, again, falling off a cliff, continuing to go down and sitting at currently 1.39% of actual inflation. So likely the numbers on Wednesday will come in better than expected, which could release some pressure on the Fed, and we could see interest rates lower quicker than expected, which would be very, very bullish for risk on assets. Again, just a few months ago, the markets were expecting one interest rate cut in 2025. Now we're looking at 3 interest rate cuts in 2025. As you guys can see, the dates to watch are this Wednesday, March. We have US core CPI numbers coming in. Will be very, very important. Remember, CPI is Consumer Price Index. It follows a basket of products that they use to assess inflation. Now, the Fed is behind. Trueflation does that daily in real time. So we have a better look at what's going on. Now, this is the most important indicator that we talked about in the introduction here. M2 money supply is continuing to tick upwards. And we know historically that there's about a 2.5 month lag from when the global M2 money supply increases and Bitcoin follows behind. So that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing this 2-month lag, but the US money supply, if you see right here, we look at the charts, we'll look recently here, and we can see, guys, M2 is a red line. Global liquidity has been going up here ever since essentially January, right? It came down a lot. That's why prices have been coming down. See, 2 to 3 months delay. See, it started coming down in October, and then prices started coming down from Bitcoin in January. Now in January, the M2 money supply starts to tick up aggressively, and we can see about a 3 month, so March, April is a good time that we could probably see Bitcoin coming back up. This is a big indicator, guys. It's likely that we're going to see short term, the next couple of weeks, still some more pain ahead, lots of uncertainty in the markets, no real clear bullish signs of immediate reasons to be bullish on Bitcoin and crypto. But I think this is an amazing accumulation zone right now. I don't know how much lower we might go. 75,000, 70,000. I'm not sure, but that's why dollar cost averaging right now would be an amazing strategy in my opinion. This is not financial advice, but I do think though, looking toward April potentially, we might see the market start to rally again. But we will continue to keep a close eye as things evolve, guys. Because if you find a lot of value from this, please do me a favor, share this with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you're not, hit the like button. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.